Hello everyone and welcome to episode 57 of our game dev tutorials. I know it's been a long time and I apologize for that. It was never meant to be that way. Life crept up on me. I don't know. I'm sure some of you have seen posts I've made either on Steam or listened to some of the videos I put up a week or two ago. But combination of health issues, financial issues, everything just kind of came down hard on me. And everything is doing fine now. I'm really looking forward to getting back to these. I really enjoy doing them. And I'm hoping that I can do, somewhere between one and two, hopefully two per month for the foreseeable future. I really do want to do these, and I do very much apologize to everybody who kind of left hanging. But before we get started, if you like these tutorials, it really is great to see those subscribes and those comments. Please, please, please do. I will do my best to pay attention to them and respond. Kind of big things for me that have been happening. I am back to doing at least some game stuff. Obviously, I'm back to these tutorials, and I'm working with an old partner of mine, a guy I've known since high school, and we've been doing some pretty cool work in the business dev work, business tools, those kinds of things. But excited to get back into the games. He's going to help me out with those as well. And then I was able to bring my artist on full time. So, though he's doing some like scripting stuff for business dev tools as well as art. Anyway, super excited to be back. Hit that subscribe. It doesn't hurt anything. Makes my day. And that thumbs up, and here we go. All right, so we left off, and we were dealing with loot systems, and we picked up items. So now we're going to get that loot displaying in a menu. We're going to use the character menu we already have, but first we're going to create a inventory slot class. Those are slots that you can put inventory into. Then we are going to swap what we are currently using for inventory, which is a list of items, for a list of inventory slots, inventory items to inventory slots. Then we are going to add a new draw function because just having one that you can color would be nice. It's a pretty minor thing, but I want to do it anyway. And then we're going to loop out the inventory in your character menu. And then we're going to stop there for this tutorial because the next one's going to be a little bit longer. It's going to deal with dragging and dropping, which probably will take a little longer, but I didn't want to try to get into both at the same time. I wanted to get a video out, and I wanted to, start in a bite-sized enough chunk. Anyway, let's get right into it. So, first things first, we are going to create our inventory item, or inventory slot class. So in our inventory here, we are going to create inventory slot. Add new item. Class. You know what? Actually, let's do this. Let's just copy this. That'll be faster because it comes with everything already in there. Rename, and this one's just inventory slot. Copy paste those. And we are going to make a few changes to this. We're going to have an inherit from animated 2D. I always go back and forth with whether to declare an animated 2D in here or to have an inherit. Sometimes I choose one, sometimes I choose the other. I am leaning more towards this way right now. And they each have their benefits and their detractions. So anyway, The job of an inventory slot is to hold a inventory item. So public inventory item, and then in here we're gonna have vector2, we're gonna have the position, we're gonna have the dimensions. So you could probably set a static for your dimensions. In this case, we're not going to, but you totally could if you wanted to. You could make that decision. So we are going to just give it solid in a second here, but let's finish out all the parameters real fast. Just pass the pose and the dims in. We're gonna have the frames of just 1, 1 because we're just gonna use solid, so it doesn't matter. And then color dot gray. Okay. Here we have 2D misc solid. So we're gonna make it gray solid out of this, and if you haven't already figured out, we're gonna pass that into a draw function without the origin, because you don't always want to give it an origin. So all right, so we have public override. Why? Because we are overriding animated 2Ds or basic 2Ds, one of the twos, update function. Update, okay, and then we can just leave that base there. Public override void draw. Okay. Now the draw is going to be interesting because what we are going to do. Oops. So we're going to create one that looks like this. So let's go to definition. That's not going to let me. Let's put that stuff back real fast, and then it'll let me. Okay, so we have these two draw functions. One just takes in a position, and the other takes in both origin and color. I just want one that does color right now. So we'll go ahead and we will grab that, and then color is right here. So we will override that with the color we pass in, and then we will come in here and we'll remove origin and put in color. Okay, so now we have our gray square, and then here we want to say if item not equal null, then we'll draw it. Item.icon.draw, and that's just offset. Okay, so a couple things to look at real fast just to think it through. We have the slot drawing underneath the item so that you can see the item, right? If you switch these two, you're not going to see your item because your solid is going to draw over the top of your item. It won't do you any good. So we now have inventory slot, I'm sorry. And now in hero, let's see if we can find hero. Units, hero. Oh, I guess it's in unit, huh? Yeah, okay. So here we are going to say inventory slot. Inventory slot. And then an interesting thing that we're going to have here is we need to create the number of slots, right? So you can do this any number of ways. What I am going to do is I'm going to loop out a certain number of them, right? So you can set a variable for this. You can, get this number through bag space or whatever it is you want to do, however you want to go about it. And this is a cool thing you can upgrade in your game in different ways. But for right now, for the sake of this tutorial, we are just gonna set it equal to 24 for right now. Why? Because that's kind of a lot of slots, and because it's gonna fit in our character menu pretty nicely. So we looped for 24 there. We're gonna say inventory slot dot add. Oops, no, that's not inventory. Did I not rename it? I probably didn't. Just inventory. So inventory slots, all better. Hero. Oh, and then why am I doing this in Hero? That's a question, right? Well, because not all units need to have slots, and so declaring it for every unit, including mobs, is kind of a waste. You could choose to do that if you need slots in your mobs. If that's how you want to deal with your loot, is to save it to the mob and put it in the slots, that's fine. That's not bad. But for right now, we only need it in Hero, so that's where we're going to declare it. All right, so we just give it a position of 0 so that we can put it wherever we want to, and a decent size, something around 48 will probably do just fine. So that gives us our slots. Now we have to work on getting our items in the slots. So somewhere in unit? Yeah, okay. So we have the ability to add to our inventory, and obviously this doesn't like us, but that's okay, and we will fix all this. So let's just comment that out for now. And first of all, what are we going to do? We're trying to add to slots, and when you're picking something up, and the game doesn't necessarily know where to put it, you want to find the next available slot. So the way to do that is you go through your list from start to finish, and when you find a location, then you break out, right? You put it in and you break out. So let's start there, and then we'll have another step that I'll add to it, and I'll mention that in a minute. So int I equals 0, I less than inventory slots, crap. Inventory slots dot count I plus plus. Okay, so there's our loop, and then we're gonna say if inventory slots I dot item not equal item equal null. So if there's not an item in there, and so obviously if you were to remove an item from a slot, you would set it equal to null. So that's kind of a hint towards how to deal with a little bit for the next phase. But so the next thing we want to do is we want to set it equal to the inventory item that comes in. By the way, if you can tell here, inventory item comes in right there. So inventory slot I dot item equals, and we're going to set it equal to that guy. And then what we're going to do is we are going to break. Now, you might say, well, okay, so first of all, this will work for the first 24 times. Then what happens? Well, you're going to pick something up and it's going to disappear. So, whereas I'm not going to go into how to handle that right now, what I am going to do is set it up so that you can handle it on your own if you so choose to. So bool added equals false. And so we want to detect if it's been added. Added's true. So now we know that it's been added. And then if we go here, we say if not added, deal with items not having enough space. Okay, so that's on you to deal with for now. That doesn't mean I won't come back to it another time, but that's just something to pay attention to. All right, so we've now switched how we add them. We have our new draw function. Let's see, what else we got here? Did that, did that, did that. Okay, now we're just looping character menu. Okay, let's find character menu. I'm pretty sure it's in UI, menus, character menu. Cool, let's pen that for now. Now, what we're going to deal with here is looping out our items, and we have a bunch of stuff coming out. Just we had text, I think, is what was in there. So we're just going to ignore that for now. That's not really what we're worried about. And we want to loop through all of our inventory items for our character. So int I equals 0, I less than, what is it, hero? I less than, yeah, it's got to be hero. Yeah, hero dot inventory slots dot count I plus plus. And then in here, we've got to get it to loop out all of our item slots, our inventory slots in a grid. So you could declare this inside of the draw function. I'm going to declare it outside so that it's easier to troubleshoot. Temp vec equals new vector2. Okay, and then we'll fill that in a minute. Say hero dot inventory slots I dot draw, and then we're gonna have top left, right? Because typically you're gonna want to start at the top left, and we already have top left set up. It's used in different spots, and then we're gonna add to that to find where we want to be in our menu. You can do it however you want. I find it much easier math to always be going down and to the right instead of starting in the middle and having to do math in 4 different directions instead of 2. That's my 2 cents. You can go about it however you feel comfortable. Okay, so I don't think I've done anything like this yet for you guys. So this is how you're going to build a grid. First things first, we want to say where our start point is. Call it 40, maybe 300. That would get us pretty far down. Now, in your X column, if you want to loop out left to right, top to bottom, so as English speakers read. Now, you can do this differently if you were choosing to do it, you know, right to left, top to bottom, which I believe is how a lot of Asian culture's writing goes, and I'm sure there's others out there. I mean, no disrespect, but I speak English, so I think left to right, top to bottom. So that's how we're going to go. And you can adjust as needed. So we're going to add to that 54, because that's a little bigger than 48, so that'll put a little gap in between. And then times, and then we're going to say I mod 6. So that's going to go to the left 6, and then it's going to go back to the start point on the x-axis, and then go out 6, and then back to the start point. So mod, what mod does is it gives you the remainder of the I divided by 6. So when I is 1, it gives you a 1. When I is 11, it gives you a 5. Hopefully that helps you think that through. And then we're going to do the same thing, except for instead of mod, we are going to say times I divided by 6. And then just to make sure it's doing exactly what we want it to do, and it's always giving us an int because sometimes it gets freaky and doesn't want to give you ints on some of these things. But sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I won't even pretend to tell you, to be able to tell you why. We're going to assign those to ints. So now this should give us left to right 6, and then go down 1. So obviously if this is a 1, it gives you a 0. If this is a 7, it gives you a 1. If it's a 14, it gives you a 2. So on and so forth. So this will give you the height of 2, and this will give you the grid of, on 14, a 2. And that should help you create your grid. All right, so from here, we want to test it. So first things first, we'll run it. And we'll just start a level. We'll hit C, and we don't have our gray. That's okay. Let's test to see if we're showing our items. So we'll pick those up and hit C. Not currently showing. You can see that there's a block there because it's over the text. But we are not getting our draw function to do the gray drawing. Let's see, inventory slot. It's not calling because that. Okay, no problem. Okay, they're there, and then inventory slots in here. And then we'll put in, you know what? No, well, we're gonna do that one to match it. All right, now hopefully that's gonna go, and we'll push C. Okay, we're definitely getting in there now. That's good. All right, there's our wonderful, beautiful grid. And now let's see if we can get items put in it. Try not to kill that guy because we would like it to spawn things. Okay, one. Let's see if we can get a second one in there. Wow, slow spawns. Or slow drop rate here. There we go. And 2 items. So, okay guys, that is the tutorial from here. The next goal will be able to grab this guy here and move him over here or over here or wherever and drop them in and have it store them, not sequentially necessarily, but in whatever spot you otherwise want them to be. And then we will probably end up saving that storage, and then we'll probably do something where we can either sell them or something to that accord. I'm not 100% sure where we're going to go after those other two, but that is the tutorial for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you are enjoying what I'm doing and you're glad to see me back, please smash that subscribe button, that like button. It really does make my day. It really does make me feel special about this kind of stuff, and I promise you I will do my best to get more tutorials out, and maybe even have this portion of the series dealt with by the end of the year. I have a lot of plans for tutorials. I am going to go back and do like setting up Monogame and that kind of stuff. I have a lot that I want to do, and you might even see tutorials coming from my business partner or from the artist. So there's lots coming. Let me know what you guys think about other people giving tutorials as well. Not on this series. This series is mine. I'm not sharing it. But I mean, like if somebody else decided they wanted to make tutorials, people seemed interested in making tutorials on like running a PHP server or you know, cloud storage, stuff like that. Let me know. Anyways, guys, that's it. Have a great night, and I will talk to you guys soon.